with a parent who could be incredibly charming one moment and pretty abusive very often, you may have struggled to make sense of what you were experiencing in your childhood. These contradictory behaviors are not random. They could be components of parental narcissism. In this video, we are going to explore the core traits and behaviors that define this challenging dynamic. So this video has 4 parts. Part 1, we will dive into the concepts of lack of empathy. In part 2, we will look at the tactics of control, manipulation, and gaslighting. In part 3, we will explore how the parents' grandiosity and sense of entitlement drive these abusive behavior. And finally, we look at the powerful emotional weapons of guilt and shame, how they are used by a narcissistic parent. And finally, we will also look at 3 simple steps that you can take today. So let's get started. Part 1, which is about lack of empathy. At the heart of a narcissistic parenting is a fundamental lack of empathy. Empathy is a complex human ability that allows us to mentally step into someone else's shoes to understand and share their feelings. A narcissistic parent's inability to do this is not a choice, it's a profound deficit. So from a parent's perspective, because a narcissistic parent cannot truly feel or understand the child's pain or feelings, they only see how your emotions impact them. If you go to them crying after, say, being bullied in school, their first thought is not, my child is hurting. Instead, they might think, why are you making such a big scene? Right? You are embarrassing me. Or you are making me feel so bad. Your sadness is not seen as a valid emotion to be nurtured. Rather, it's an inconvenience or a burden to the parent. When your feelings are consistently met with indifference, criticism, or punishment, the child learns that your emotions are not valid. You learn to suppress your feelings, not to trust your own emotional responses, and feel profoundly alone, even when a caregiver is physically present in their life. This creates an emotional vacuum that a child spends a lifetime trying to fill. In the second part, we are going to look at control and manipulation. A narcissist's fragile ego requires constant control over their environment and people in it. They achieve this through various manipulation tactics that serve to keep the child dependent and compliant. These are not just poor communication habits, these are deliberate strategies for maintaining their power over the children. The first one that we are going to see is gaslighting. This is a pervasive and incredibly damaging form of psychological manipulation where the parent plants seeds of doubt in a child's mind, making the child question their own memory, perception, and even sanity. It's a tool for control designed to make you more reliant on the parent's version of the reality. A parent might say, that event never happened. You are imagining those things. I never said that. Sometimes they can also say you're sensitive in response to your hurt. This consistent invalidation can wear you down, your ability to trust yourself and your instinct. The second tactic which comes into play is triangulation. This tactic involves a third party. It can be a sibling, a parent, or an outsider into a conflict to avoid direct accountability. A parent might use phrases like, your sister agrees that you are selfish, to turn you against your sibling and maintain their position of power. From a sociological perspective, this tactic is incredibly effective because it prevents you from forming a healthy alliances, keep you isolated, ensuring the parent remains the central authority and source of validation. In the part 3, we are going to see grandiosity and entitlement. A narcissist's grandiosity and deep-seated sense of entitlement are not just abstract personality traits. They are engines that drive their day-to-day behavior. They manifest in how a parent expects to be treated and how they view their children's role. A parent with this trait believes that they are exceptional and their life choices and parenting style are absolutely brilliant. They brag about their children's accomplishments as they were their own while completely dismissing the child's individual effort. Any challenge to this perfect self-image, if children say poor grade or maybe a bad opinion about that child, is met with narcissistic rage or a cold withdrawal of affection because it is a threat to their ego or self-image. When it comes to the entitlement, how does it play? This is the profound belief that they own attention, resources, and respect simply because of who they are. They feel their needs are more important than anyone else's, including their children. They might interrupt you, demand your time without any regard for your schedule, and take credit for your accomplishments. This sense of entitlement is a constant message to the child that their own needs are irrelevant and their purpose is to serve the parent, make the parent happy and proud. In part 3, we are going to see how guilt and shame is used by the narcissistic parent. While all parents use discipline, a narcissistic parent weaponizes guilt and shame to control their child. They don't teach right from wrong. They teach that a child's action can either bring them glory or bring them shame. So guilt is used as a tool to make a child feel responsible for a parent's feeling and happiness. Phrases like, "Look what you did to me," or, "After all the things I have done for you, how could you be so ungrateful?" So these statements are designed to emotionally manipulate you into compliance. This creates a deep-seated feeling of obligation that can follow a person for a life. Shame is used to diminish a child and make them feel fundamentally unworthy. A narcissistic parent might publicly criticize a children's grade or appearance or interest or some mistake they have done in the past, framing it as a personal failure on their part. The child learns to carry that deep sense of shame, believing that there is something inherently wrong with it, rather than with the parent's behavior. This constant shaming can profoundly undermine the child's sense of self-esteem and self-worth. Understanding these dynamics is the very first step towards having clarity. And you can take, even small actions to reinforce this understanding. So here are 3 simple steps that you can take. The first one, name the behavior. Think of a recent interaction with your parent or a vivid memory from the past. Can you now name one of those specific behaviors that we discussed in this video? Be it gaslighting, entitlement, any of them. Simply naming the behavior separates the event from your sense of self. Second tip or second action that you can do is observe your emotional reaction. After an interaction, take a moment to check in with yourself. Do you feel confused, anxious, or dismissed? Simply notice your emotional state without trying to change it. This is a powerful act of connecting your parents' behavior to its impact on you. Start a journal. Create a dedicated space to, write down specific examples of these behaviors as you notice them. This written record will be an invaluable tool to combat the self-doubt caused by gaslighting and will help you to see the pattern more clearly as you write more and more. To sum up, these behaviors are not just isolated personality differences. These are patterns that can severely damage a child's sense of self and emotional well being. Understanding this dynamic is not about blaming you or your parent for what happened. It's about recognizing the reality of what happened and what you survived or going through. In the coming videos, we shall continue our exploration of narcissism and narcissistic abuse. It's time to wind up this video. Subscribe to this channel and stay with us in this journey of understanding and healing from narcissistic abuse. Let's stay connected on social media. If you are interested in additional healing resources and long-form content, you can find the links to my weekly newsletter, healing program and ebooks in the description below. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.